Good morning, friends. Today we are going to learn what is bug life cycle or defect life cycle. Okay. Uh, this bug life cycle or the defect life cycle is about the status of the defect report. Okay, you might be seeing the defect report. You might be in the previous sessions or in previous sessions we will be discussing. We have discussed about the what is the defect report and all those things. Okay, so whenever we will execute the test cases, okay, we will be getting the defects. Okay, then what we have to do, we have to isolate the defects. Okay, means isolation the defects means we have to write the defects in a separate document. Okay, in some companies that document is called as defect report, or some companies they will call it a defect profile document. Okay, so whatever the name it is the document where the defects are being documented, and that document is being sent to the development team. Okay, so that they can see the defects and they can rectify the defects. Okay, so here this bug life cycle is about the status of the defects. Okay, so how the status of the defects will be changing, and who is the person who will be changing those status. Okay, we will be seeing that. Okay, so okay, this is what is the some of the definition of the defects. Okay, uh, okay, this is what is the defect life cycle. Okay, um, suppose that before explaining this defect life cycle, first I will be explaining. First, you have to know the some of the terminologies such as suppose as a test engineer, we have to find the defects. Means I have to execute the test cases. Where I have to execute, I have to execute the test cases on the build. Where I will give from where I will get the build. I will be getting the build from the development department. So what is the build? Build is the executable file. Okay, so developers in the development phase, what happens? Developers will develop the application. Okay, so they will be writing the code. Okay, if they will give the code to a test engineer, then what a test engineer will do, how a test engineer will test the code. Okay, so what they have to do is they have to convert, they have to give an executable code or .exe file, okay, which is called the build. Okay, so whenever the build comes to the tester, every build will be having the build number. Okay, so if first time we are getting the build from the development department, then the build number will be 1. Okay, and then later stages it will be incrementing with 1, means 1 2 3 4 so on. Okay, means build number will be changing in that way. Okay, it will be always incrementing with 1. Okay, so that is what is about the build. Then what is the version? Version means version will be like 1.2, 1.3, or 1.0. Okay, version will be like this. Suppose if at all any changes comes, then the version changes. Okay, then when the build changes, build number will change. Whenever I will be getting the new build, then the build number will be changing. Where I will be getting, I will be getting from the development department. Okay, whenever the new build comes from the development department to the testing department, then the build number will be incremented with 1. Okay, but version is not like that. If at all any changes occurs in the functionality, then only the version changes. Okay, that what is the difference between the build number and version number. Okay, so now we will be talking about this defect life cycle or the bug life cycle. Suppose that here is the developer. Okay, developer has developed the product. They have done unit testing, they have done integrated testing. After that, they have means they have formed an exe file. means, and they have given the build, then what will be the build number? Build number will be 1. Okay, build number will be 1. Okay, suppose that the build number is 1, version number is 1. Okay, and they have given the build 1 to the testing department. Okay, then what the testers will do? Testers will be executing the test cases on the application or on the build in order to test that build. Okay, so what happens, that's what is the called the first cycle or the iteration. Somebody will call it the iteration or somebody will call it the iteration, both are same. Okay, so the first iteration, iteration 1, first they will be executing the all the test cases. Suppose that I got a defect. Suppose that I got a defect, and what I have to do, I have to write the defect in a separate document called defect report or defect profile document. Then what will be the status? Okay, suppose that if I didn't get any defect, okay, zero defect, that will not happen. But if at all, if I got the if I didn't get any defect, then the I will stop testing. Okay, see here, if I will not find any defect, then I will stop testing. Suppose that if I got a defect, then first I have to document the defect in the defect report, and I have to make the status, I have to put the status as new. First I have to put the status as new. Okay, some companies they will put it directly, they will put it as open. Okay, whatever it is, the standard states that first you have to keep it as new. Then those defects are to be sent, means actually will be shared with the test lead. Okay, then what the test lead will be doing, the test lead will be checking those defects whether they are genuine defects or not. Okay, genuine defects means whether the defects are reproducible or not. Okay, that's what it is, because he also knows the functionality, so he will check whether the defects are reproducible or not, whether they are genuine defects or not, and there if there are any duplicate defects. Suppose there are three test engineers. Okay, I got a defect in one page, that too in footer. Okay, there will be footer, some links will be there, some link was not there, so I have raised a defect. The same my colleague or my peer tested a different page which is also having the same page, which is also having, who is also having the same footer, so he also raised the same defect. So that's what is the duplicate defect. Okay, so here the test lead will check whether there are any duplicate defects or not. If there are any duplicate defects, what he will be doing is he will be sending only one defect, he will not be sending the two defects. Okay, so in that way, first he will check whether it is reproducible or not, whether it is a genuine defect or not, whether it is duplicate or not. Okay, if it is not duplicate, if it is a genuine defect, if defect is reproducible, then he will change the status from new to open. So a test engineer will first find the defect, and he will, after identifying the defect, he will be documenting the defect in the defect report, and he will put the status as new. And after reviewing, means after checking or after verifying the defect or the defect, the test lead will change the status to open, from new to open, so he will change to open. Okay, then these open defects are then submitted to the development department. This means that they will be giving that defect report document or the defect profile document to the development department. So in development department, who will be there? Uh, Development lead will be there or team lead will be there. Okay, what he will be doing, first he will be checking whether the defect is really a defect or not. He will be also doing the same thing. Okay, he will also be checking whether the defect is really a defect or not, or otherwise sometimes what happens, or the development lead, without checking, he may assign to the respect to developer. He will be what he will be doing? He will be assigning that defect to the respect to developer because he knows which module is developed by which developer. So he will be assigning that defect to the respect to developer. So what the developer will do, the developer will check whether really it is a defect or not. Okay, is really a defect or not? Okay, suppose that there are different statuses. Suppose that if it is not a defect, means there are different things that may happen. Okay, if it is not a defect, suppose uh, sometimes what is there is a means as per the design status is there means suppose there might have a change in the functionality, but testing team might not be knowing about the change in functionality because maybe documents may not be updated or something may happen. Okay, uh, because of that the testing department don't know that okay that the functionality has been changed, but development department developers knows that and they have developed the product as per the new requirements maybe. Okay, in that case if they think that tester might not be aware of the changed requirement, but the what defect which has been raised is not a defect. Okay, it is as per the design. Okay, as per the changed requirements. Okay, then what he will be doing is he will be changing the status to as per design. Okay, and what else? Suppose what is this deferred? So this is another thing, hold. Okay, first we'll talk about the hold. What is this hold? Suppose that uh, he checked he means he checked whether it is a really a defect or not, and really the defect is reproducible or not. He will be checking it. Okay, suppose the defect is being reproducible, but he might not be having some resources to fix that defect. Means he might not be having the hardware, or he might not be having the support of the uh, some human resources maybe. Okay, means if there are no resources available to fix the defect, then he will be keeping the status as hold. Okay, and if he keeps the status as hold, then what he has to do, he has to write he had to give the reasons for keeping it on hold. Okay, so where he will keep that keep the reasons, there will be a remarks column where he will be writing the reasons why he has kept it on hold. Okay, normally hold will be kept whenever there is a lack of resources. Okay, then we have already learned about as per the design when the developer thinks that the it is not a defect and it is as per the design because it is as per the changed requirements and testers may not be aware of that changed requirement. Okay, then what is this deferred? Deferred. Okay, he has means defect has been reproducible, but it is having low severity and low priority, and this is not that much important at particular this particular release. Okay, this can be handled in the next release also. Okay, if he thinks like that, so then he what he will be keeping, he will be keeping as deferred. Means if the defect is kept as deferred, it will not be uh, what you call solved in this version. He that may be solved in next version. Okay, that may be taken care in next version, or they will be thinking that okay, this will not be means solved in this iteration. Next iteration if it comes, then it will be solved. Okay, normally uh, they will be solving it in next release. Okay, then what is rejected? Okay, suppose that the developer, even though the defect has been suppose the defect is not is it means is been reproducible, but that is not a defect. He didn't agree that okay, that is a defect. Okay, then he may reject it. This means that this when he, according to him, he thinks that okay, tester has wrongly uh, uh, taken the requirement. Okay, wrongly taken the requirement means wrongly understood the requirement. That's why he has raised the defect. Okay, if he thinks like that, then he will be rejecting that defect. Okay, I will be talking about what happens to those things also. Okay, whenever the defect will be rejected, what happens. Okay, then the tester's error. Tester's error is another status. Suppose that customer means developer thinks that it is the defect. It is not a defect, and it is due to the it is a error or tester's error. It means tester has done the error. Means wrongly he has identified the wrong defect. Okay, which is actually the correct functionality, but he has wrongly done it. Okay, that's what it is. Then not reproducible, if defect is not reproducible. Okay, if he followed the steps which the tester has written in steps to reproduce. Okay, if he followed that one, then also if he didn't get the defect, then he will write it as not reproducible, need more information. Okay, in that case what happens, the tester has to provide some more information. Okay, which will help him. Okay, in means so that the defect can be reproducible. Okay, duplicate. Okay, suppose that the developer thinks that okay, this type of defect has also been already been raised. Okay, then he may write it as duplicate. Okay, they are the all the status which a developer can put whenever a open defect comes to him. Okay, so it is not compulsory that every company will be following these all these things, but most of the companies will be following the deferred or hold. Okay, not reproducible, duplicate. Okay, these are the common one. Okay, which every company will follow. Okay, but you have to know each and everything. Okay, as a test engineer. Okay, you might not be know means of which company will be getting the job and what type of defect test status they are following. Okay, so suppose that okay, defect is identified, defect is been reproduced, and defect is been fixed, then he will change the status to fixed. Okay, who will change the status? Developer will change the status. Okay, then what happens means fixing the defects means they have to do some modification in the code and they have to generate the new build. Okay, new exe. Okay, then the build number will be build 2. Initially it was build 1. This is the new build. Okay, modified uh, with the modifications done. Okay, in the code. So this build number is 2. Version number will be 1 only because there are no requirements are not being changed. Okay, only defect fixing is done. Okay, so build 2 will be given to the tester. Then what the tester has to do in retesting, they have to check whether the defects have been fixed or not. Okay, if the defect is been fixed, then he will change the status to close. If the defect is not fixed, okay, then what happens? Again, he has to write it as reopen. Okay, in some companies they will write it as open. In some most of the companies they will check it, they will change the status to reopen. Okay, and it will again those defects will be sent it to the development department, and this circle will be repeated. Okay, continuously until and unless okay, all the defects are been solved or the exit criteria is been satisfied. Okay, exit criteria means suppose that most of the we already discussed about the exit criteria means see 100% defect fixing 100% defect free software may not be there. Okay, so what happens? Okay, the circle will be going on: first iteration, second iteration, third iteration, fourth iteration. Okay, but at particular stage something what happens means uh, customer will be telling okay, if there are 5% of the defects or the 2% of the defects are there, it is okay, but those defects should not be any major defects. Okay, then that can be acceptable. Okay, that decision will be that type of intimation will be given by the uh, customer at the early stages only. Okay, and it is made mentioned in the test plan. Okay, when we have to exit testing. Okay, that is what is the exit criteria. If there are 2% or the 3% or the 5% of defects are there, and those defects should not be major defects, then the build can be delivered. Okay, and the product can be delivered or the project can be delivered to the customer, but we have to take care of those 5% defects in the maintenance phase. Okay, so that's what is the how the defects will be going on. Well, this is all about the defect life cycle. This is what is the explanation which I already gave you. Okay, the first will be new or open. Then this is all step by step. Okay, sorry. After this, you want to take the notes. You pause the video and you please take the notes if you want it. Okay, this is what we have discussed when it will be as per the design. Okay. Yeah, here, see, suppose that what happens here, there is a very important thing over here. Suppose that there is a status known as the tester's error. If the developer says that my means the defect raised by the tester is not a defect and it is a tester's error, then definitely there will be a controversy actually. Means as a tester we will not agree, and as a developer he will not also agree. Why this type of things happen? Okay, means if the requirements are not clear, if the SRS or in the other documents, if the requirements are not clearly mentioned, and while reviewing the or while studying the documents, we have not raised means any what you call clarification on that particular point. Okay, if you are not clearly studied it, or even though the ambiguity is there in the requirement, but the ambiguity is not identified properly, and we have our own perception, and the developer is having his own perception. Okay, it may happen. Okay, according to me this may be right, according to him that something else may be right. Okay, why it happens when the documents are not clear? Okay, that's what. If at all we are having any doubt, we have to raise the requirement clarification note, and that note has been submitted to the respective author of the document. Okay, so that we have to be clear in the requirement. If you are having any ambiguity, if you are not clear with the requirement, even as a tester I am clear, but as a developer he may not be clear. Okay, so that may happen in the, for anyone. Okay, so if that thing happens, what happens, there will be uh, what you call this type of discussions which will be done. Means you have raised a defect and developer is not agreeing that it is a defect, and he has changed the status to tester's error. This is a bad remark to the in the tester's point of view. So what happens if a test lead will check the document as per the test lead, tester is correct, and as per the developer, as per the development lead, developer is correct. Okay, in that time what happens, there will be a meeting called as triage meeting will be conducted, where the development lead will be coming and the testing lead will be coming. As a test engineer I will be there, who has raised the defect, and the developer who has written the status as tester's error will also be there, and they will be discussing on that defect. They will be They will be discussing the defect, and they will be, each and every person will give his own clarification. Okay, they will be showing their own reference. Okay, so as a test engineer, I will be showing the SRS reference. As a developer, he may be showing the design documents, or programmer specification document, or some document he will be showing as a reference. Okay, then there will be a discussion in that meeting. They will be discussing, and they will be conclude that whether it is a really a defect, or it is a tester's error. Okay, and depending on the discussion on it, if at all any documents should be changed, they will be changed. Okay, means they will be calling that respect to author of the document, and suppose that if there is some ambiguity in the SRS, so the system analyst will be coming, and he will be clarifying the doubt. Okay, and in the triage meeting, that will be clarification will be done. Okay, so that is what is in interview point of view. They were asking what is a triage meeting. Triage meetings are the meetings which are being conducted whenever there is any ambiguity, any dispute between the tester and the developer. Okay, we means with respect to the defect. Okay, so okay, this is also a defect life cycle. Okay, this you might be seeing this type of means defect life cycle diagram in some sites. Okay, this is also the same thing, but here see how it happens. Okay, here the red line is for testing. Okay, and the black line is for development. Okay, suppose the first whenever we get the defect, the status will be new. Okay, then it will be, it will go to the test lead. Okay, test lead will change the status to the open. Okay, then what happens, suppose if when I told you that when he will be opening it, when the defect is reproducible, when he thinks that defect is really a defect and it is not a duplicate defect. Okay, so suppose that if it is a duplicate defect, or the defect is not reproducible, or if it is not a genuine defect, then what happens, the developer will withdraw it. Okay, what he will do, he will do withdraw. He will change the status to withdraw. Okay, he can't delete the defect. Okay, he should not delete the defect. Once the defect has been raised, the number will be same. Okay, defect number will be already been generated, so they can't delete the defect. So this change, they will change the status to from new to withdraw. Okay, suppose that uh, here see here new to withdraw. See here line, new to withdraw. Okay, so after that, uh, suppose that here lines are there, from open, what will be the status, then it will be, suppose it is a really a defect, then the test lead will open it, and that defect will be sent it to the development department, and the development lead who will be assigning the defect to the developer. Okay, then the developer, what he will be doing is, he will be fixing it. So from, if it is open, after open, the black line means developer will change it to fixed. See here, or the developer can also put it on hold. He can also reject. Okay, he can fix, he can reject, he can put it on hold. Okay, or see here, then after the fixing is being done, what happens again, the new build will be means they will be means developing the change, doing the changes in the code, and the new build will be released to the testing department. So they will, what the testers, what they will be doing, they will be checking whether the defect is been fixed or not. If it is fixed, they will close it. See here, they will close it. Suppose that if it is not fixed, then what they will be doing, they will reopen it. Okay, what they will be doing, they will reopen it. Okay, then again it will go to the circle. Then here the black lines are also there. See here, after reopening, it is not responding, not reproducible. Sorry, not reproducible. Okay, so if it is really, if it is not reproducible, and what I told you in the previous session, see here, suppose that it has been rejected, and we really we found that okay, that after the development, after the development department has tested it, means checked it, and they found that that is not a defect, and they have rejected it, and as a test engineer, we also agreed it that it is not a defect, means after having some discussion, okay, in the triage meeting and all those things, then we have agreed it, and then we have to change the status to withdraw. Okay, in the same way tester's error also, if you really it is a tester's error, then we have to change the status to withdraw. Who will withdraw? Test lead will change the status. Okay, if it is rejected, if it is really if it is not a defect, or here also if it is a tester's error, if it is not a genuine defect, then the defect will be the status will be changed to withdraw. Okay, if it is not responding also, and we agree that it is not reproducible, then also it will be withdrawn. If it is a duplicate defect, then also it will be withdrawn. Okay, we should not close it. It is not closed, it is withdraw, means we have withdrawn that it is not a defect. Okay, case withdraw will be there now. Which case we will put some case and we will withdraw that case in the same way. See here, withdraw is there. Okay, from new also we can, okay, you can, we have raised the defect, and we after that we realize that it is not a defect, then also we can also withdraw it, means then also it can be withdrawn. See, after open also it withdrawn. Who will be doing that, means withdraw here after opening? After opening also, suppose that if developer in developer side it is not reproducible, then it can be withdrawn. Okay, if it is rejected, then also it is withdrawn. Okay, so here if it is not reproducible, then also it is withdrawn. Okay, see, there are all red lines, means it is done from the testing department. This means test lead can only change it, developer cannot change this status. Okay, to withdraw, only test engineer or test lead will change it. Okay, that's what it is. This is about new, when you will keep the new status. Okay, when you will give when the defect comes for the first time. Okay, then when will it will open, the test lead will change it to open after reviewing it or checking whether it is reproducible or not, whether it is duplicate or not. Okay, then if it is not duplicate, if it is reproducible, and if it is a genuine defect, then only he will keep it as open. Okay, then what is this reopen? When after getting the new build, when you check it whether the defect is fixed or not. If it is not fixed, then we have to change the status to reopen. What is this fixed? Fixed is the status done by the developer after fixing the defect. Okay, close, when the defect is being fixed, then it will be closed. On hold, when the resources are not there, resources are not available. Okay, then means because of this unavailability of the resources, that defect may not be means fixed in this iteration, it may be fixed in some next iteration. Okay, okay, and he has to mention the reason why he has kept it on hold. Okay, then as per the design, I told you test engineer is not aware that the functionality has been changed, but the developer has aware that, and he has done the changes, but because it is not as per the document, we have raised the defect, but it is not really a defect, it is as per the design. Okay, That clarification the developer has to give in the note in the remark section. Okay, definitely. That means there will be a discussion if it is as per the design, because the documents are not been updated. Okay, after that the documents will be updated, then the status will be changed to withdraw. Okay, deferred when the developer team thinks that okay, this defect can be resolved in the next version. Okay, it is not that much severe, or it is not having that much priority. Okay, if the priority is low, severity is low, then we'll keep it as deferred. And means as a test engineer, we should not keep it. Okay, the development development lead has to keep it as deferred. Okay, because they will be having the better knowledge of uh, the means when when what is the importance, or what is the priority. Okay, priority is decided by them. So it is been always been this status is always been done by the development department. Okay, tester's error when the developer thinks that it is an invalid defect. Okay, rejected when the development department the developer thinks that it is not a defect, means that is the right one, means it is working fine. Okay, um, why this type of defects with this type of things happens, sometimes what happens, some errors or some defects comes because of the um, difference in the environment. Okay, suppose that the customers developments actually as a tester has to test the application in the customer stimulated environment. But sometimes what happens, there may be a difference in the environment. Okay, the may not be customer simulated environment, that error has been occurred. Okay, but in the development place, that is not reproducible. Okay, so in that case, tester's error may come. Okay, or they may reject the defect. Okay, because it is not reproducible, then they can means they can reject it. Okay, not reproducible. Okay, need more information. This is also one of the status. If it is not reproducible, okay, withdraw. When the withdraw is been done, the status is always been changed by the test lead. Okay, means suppose that it is rejected and we agree that that is really not a defect, then we withdraw it. Or suppose that it is a duplicate defect and we realize that it is a duplicate defect, then also we can withdraw it. Okay, so there are different stages, means I told you here I have it when it will be withdrawn, it can be withdrawn from open to withdraw, means after opening, if after changing the status to open, if the test lead okay thought that okay this defect is not a defect, then he can withdraw it. Or otherwise, see here, if it is not reproducible or if it is rejected, okay, then also you can change the status to withdraw. Okay, well, this is all about the defect life cycle or the bug life cycle. Okay, hope you understood the concept of the bug life cycle. Okay, thank you.